Hi friends, Aitherea here, and today I'm going to be sharing with you the quality of life updates in patch 7.1 that you may not have known about, you may have overlooked. If you haven't read the patch notes, we'll be going through those, and I'll also be giving examples in the actual game where I can to help you better understand what these quality of life updates are and what they look like now. So let's just get into it. There are a ton of quality of life updates this patch. I'm going to be going over all of the most important and impactful ones. There may be a few that I leave out if they just feel kind of very small and not that important or noticeable, but there's a lot, so let's just get started. Alright, so the first one has to do with hiding nearby players when interacting with quest NPCs. It says, the options to hide nearby players will no longer hide friends by default, so you will still be able to see your friends when you're interacting with quest NPCs. In accordance with this change, the also hide nearby party members settings has been changed to also hide nearby party members and friends. So basically, it will not hide friends by default, but if you want to have them hidden, then you'll have to check the box for also hide nearby party members and friends. You will find these settings in character configuration, control settings, general. Just scroll down all the way to the bottom, quest progression settings, and you'll see this all right here. It also says when the hide nearby players when close to quest NPC setting is enabled, interacting with a non-quest NPC or object will no longer cause nearby players to reappear. I haven't seen an example of this going through patch 7.1's MSQ, but it sounds like they're going to stay gone and it won't be this kind of musical chairs of reappear, disappear, reappear, disappear. So hopefully that works as intended. Moving on, they have changed the quest completion menu a little bit. So basically the difference is that if you try to click complete without selecting a reward, you'll get this little black box that pops up and kind of asks you again, pick a reward, and then you can click complete. And that is that. They have also made some adjustments to the duty list, which is the list that displays all of your quests and things on your screen. Now it can display up to 10 duties simultaneously. It says up to 5 are set to display by default, but you can adjust that within the HUD tab of the character configuration window. Icons in the duty list can now be selected to perform emotes or open the crafting log in quests from the 6.5 patch series and earlier. Certain quests may not support the feature. You guys have probably already seen this. It's when there's a little icon in the duty list and you can just click it to perform the emote, the action, whatever. I think what they're saying is that this has been added retroactively to 6.5 and earlier, where there may not have been some quests at that point that had them, where like all the new quests do, so I think that's all that is. When using a controller, the cursor will no longer remain on the duty list after selecting an icon to complete a quest objective. Until now, the cursor would remain on the duty list, meaning players would sometimes unintentionally use emotes and key items when attempting to select the confirm button. This adjustment was designed to prevent this issue. I have not more to say on this. I don't play with controllers, so I hope you guys can understand it clearly just from what the patch note here says. When carrying out trade craft guild levs, icons in the duty list can now be selected to open the crafting log. So again, I think it's a similar thing to this one up here, is you'll be able to just click the icon in the duty list to open that, which is really nice. When accessing the map from the journal or duty list, the icon of the selected quest will now be prioritized over other icons on the map. As an exception, Aetherite icons will be prioritized over quest icons. I have to say I don't understand what it doesn't look. Does it look prioritized? It doesn't look any bigger to me. I'm not sure. The duty tab of the Unending journey will now be categorized by expansions. Alright, next we have some housing changes, and this is huge. The interior design of an estate can now be changed. Players must have a furnishing placement authorization to renovate the interior of a private estate. In the case of free company estates, you must also have hall remodeling authorization. In addition to new interior designs, you may also choose a design originating from any housing area. Furthermore, you are free to change your estate's interior design as many times as you please. Please note, however, guys, this is really important, that all furnishings will automatically be placed in the storeroom. So when you change the interior design of your home, you gotta redecorate from scratch, basically. The interior design cannot be changed if your estate's storeroom possesses insufficient space. Interior fixtures will not be changed. I believe that means the light fixtures and possibly like the flooring and stuff. So this one is really big because up until now, the interior of a house in terms of like the pillars and what the ceiling looked like, I think was usually based on things like what housing district you're in. And now you basically get to have a choice on that, on which one that you would like. You get all of these different choices. And the cool thing is they added a minimalist one, which a lot of people are really liking because it's providing a little bit more space. There's no more pillars. The staircases are a lot more sleek, I guess you could say, and less bulky and kind of like in your face. So it's really, really cool that they have added this, but just be aware that you will have to decorate from scratch if you decide to do this. Next up, the following additions have been made to Dome and Mahjong. Character voices have been added. To unlock a designated character's voice, the corresponding item is required. These items can be acquired after completing the side quest Every Little Thing She Does is Mahjong and the main scenario quest Heavensward, by speaking with Debordier in the Gold Saucer and exchanging MGP. Additional character voices will become available by progressing through the main story. To enable voices, open the Gold Saucer menu and navigate to the Mahjong tab. Under Mahjong Character Voices, you may enable or disable the feature or select the desired character to be used during the matches. The selected character voice and accompanying portrait will not play or display for other players. A help button has been added to the Mahjong tab of the Gold Saucer menu for easy access to the rules of this Domin pastime. Oh, that's nice. The information provided is the same as that covered by the Mahjong tutor. That's actually really great because a lot of us, like myself, have probably unlocked Mahjong and not really played. And then if you want to get into it, you're like, oh, I kind of forgot the rules. I don't know how to play this. And now that will all be available. So some changes have been made to Wondrous Tails. Prices available for exchange for gold, silver, and bronze have been adjusted. The positions of Chloe's Silver Certificate of Commendation ×3 and Chloe's Gold Certificate of Commendation have been switched in the 3 lines tier of the rewards list. As a result of this change, players level 60 to 99 may now select Chloe's Gold Certificate of Commendation as a reward for completing 3 lines in their Wondrous Tails journal. I don't really understand that because I thought 3 lines was always gold, but I don't know. I've never got gold, so maybe I'm wrong. I don't really get what this change is. And then they have also changed some of their categories for dungeons. So before you can see it was 1 to 49, 50, 51 to 59, and now they've got 1 to 49, 51 to 79. They kind of just made it make a little bit more sense. The Show on Map subcommand has been added to the Sightseeing log to allow players to review the location of recorded spots. This one is really cool. The following additions and adjustments have been made to emotes. The following emotes can now be used while sitting on the ground. Note that only your character's upper body will move. So there's a bunch of these. I will show a few, but there's so many emotes added, so maybe take a moment to read this over yourself. But we've got welcome, Eastern greeting, soothe, hand to heart, pet, shocked, snap, surprise to back, examine self, slap, shrug, cry, toast, fist bump, link pearl, spectacles, air quote, shush, and more. And then there's a few emotes that they've just adjusted. Maybe they were a little weird before for sitting on the ground, but this is really cool because a bunch of emotes now can be used while sitting. They can also be used on mounts and with fashion accessories like wings. Very, very cool. Next up, they have also made some changes to every single job, like job adjustment stuff. And I can't necessarily judge what's going to be quality of life for all of these. And I don't know that you would technically consider these kinds of changes quality of life, but I think it might be worth it to come and take a look. I will have the patch notes linked in the description. If you're interested, you can come and take a look at the different job changes. But for me, it's quality of life because I play White Mage. Not only is Esuna now instant cast, but White Mage also got wholly reduced from 2.5 to 1.5 seconds, which means it's really fast now. It feels really good and it's really cool. So I freaking love it. Moving on. Alright, this next one is a biggie. This one is Hall of the Novice has been completely overhauled. Tactical training exercises have been added to better familiarize players with battle mechanics. There has been so much added to this, but basically what they have done is they've made it so that players will encounter the things we actually regularly encounter in the game, like stack markers, tethers, line of sight stuff, just a whole bunch of different stuff. And then on top of that, there is also a help menu that explains all of the different sort of mechanics that people will face. So these are really, really great changes. PvP has also had a bit of an overhaul with a lot of jobs having adjustments. It would be, again, kind of impossible to go over it all, so if you want to see it, you would want to come to the patch notes and click on these things. But a lot of jobs have had just little changes to their skills. I'm not sure if any got completely new skills. I think some did. I haven't really checked it over myself, but I did play on White Mage and we did get a new skill. We got Glare 4, so a lot has been changed. And if you like PvP, I think you're really going to enjoy that. On top of that, it also says the timing with which certain PvP action effects trigger has been changed. Hit detection of PvP actions has been adjusted to better match visual effects striking a target. And certain actions will continue to register hits at the time of execution. So basically a lot of stuff is going to go off when you see the animation, but some actions will still go off when you press the button, because there's a difference between the two, and that's one of the big changes that they've made. I haven't really personally noticed this, like I did Frontlines yesterday, and I couldn't really tell a difference, but there's that. And yeah, very cool. There's also been some changes to Crystalline Conflict. The time limit for overtime has been reduced from 25 to 10 minutes, which means that the maximum time a match could last would be 15 minutes, which I think is great, because imagine getting stuck in a Crystalline Conflict match for 25 minutes. That is just too much. I think it's much better to stop it at 15. They've also changed the KO counter to just display your total KOs over the course of a match, rather than how many since you last defeated a player. The KO counter can now also display after the screen fades to black when rejoining combat. They're also adding the time remaining for overtime, so you'll know how much longer you have to potentially win or lose. And when adjusting the display of your affiliated team, these changes will now be immediately reflected in game, which I think will make it easier to change things when you get in there, because I know sometimes it can be hard because you're like, oh, the match is almost starting, I gotta quickly change this. So that should hopefully be what that is. I'm not 100% sure. And they've also made changes to a bunch of the maps. Again, if you're interested, I would say come and look at this yourself. But it's some stuff like they have added more things to hide behind in maps. They've added these air turbulence gale spheres that will give you swift sprint when you touch them. This other map here, the sandy one, they changed the pathways a little bit. So yeah, a few different changes there. Also some changes with matching. To better facilitate matching, all ranked matches within each physical data center will now be held within a single logical data center. The logical data center used to host rank matches will change each season. Okay, so it's not always going to be primal. Moreover, players can no longer register for ranked matches while in a data center that is not hosting ranked matches. Registration must take place in the logical data center hosting ranked matches. In the event more than one character on the same service account qualifies to appear in the standings, only the character with the highest tier in crystal credits will be listed. So you only get to win once, apparently. The number of placements to receive rewards has been increased from 100 to 300 everywhere except for Oceania, which is really cool. More people get to win, which makes sense because there's a lot of people playing these servers. When using the Homeworld transfer service to change to a different homeworld within the same physical data center, character tiers, risers, and rising stars will no longer be reset. Ooh, that's good. Please note this character data will be reset when changing to a homeworld within another physical data center. Okay, so it sounds like within your own data center, like if you're in Crystal and you move around in Crystal, this won't be a problem. But if you go to like Primal, this could be an issue still. This next one is perhaps my favorite quality of life update, and it is that they have added a bunch more items to 2-die channels. So you'll see here that a lot of these are, I believe, old relic weapons. We've even got the more recent Endwalker ones, the Manderville ones. So it's a bunch of the relic weapons at different stages. And then moving down past all of the relic weapons, and there also are like crafter and gatherer weapons and fisher and all that in here too. There's some really, really exciting ones in here. We have flower crowns, so we have some different event ones that got added. Sweet Dream tunic, so you can see different event ones. Then we have the Oasis tunic and Cerule, Riviera doublet. So these are some of the ones from the Gold Saucer, I believe. Crystarium gauntlets, Crystarium tabard, the Gleaner outfit, Kupo jacket, there's a bunch, but the most exciting ones are here at the bottom, starting with the Scion Hearer's hood. So from here down, these are all NPC Mog Station items that you can buy, glamours I should say, that previously had no dye channels at all. These used to be undyeable. They can dye now, and they have 2-dye channels. They have Gaia's attire on here. My favorites are starting here. Gown of Light, Skirt of Light, Oracle Top, well, the Oracle set, and Gaia's attire. These all have 2-dye channels now, and they look incredible, and I am so freaking excited about it. This is the best change ever, and this also leads me to believe that in the future, they will add more previously undyeable gear. Previously undyeable NPC gear to have at least 1, if not 2, probably 2 dye channels, because all of these have 2 dye channels. That is crazy and so exciting. More good news for glamours. The following items can now be equipped regardless of gender. One of the really big ones here that people are excited about, Eastern Lady Errant's outfit. This one has a really cool coat. I think it actually looks good on a lot of the male races, and it has always had really, really cool arms. So that's super cool. There's so much cool stuff on here. This is fantastic. The icons for the faces we wear items used to unlock Facewear are now unified, so that should be less confusing because they should all look the same, I guess. I don't know what they look like before because I don't wear glasses, but okay. The Armoire now divides items into subcategories within each tab. This one I especially love because before you would come into your Armoire looking for a piece and it would just be like, oh, they were just all mixed together. And now it actually is sorting it, oftentimes by what set it is from or what event it is from, stuff like that. And it just is really, really nice. Okay, and perhaps one of our favorite features, the Outfit Glamour feature has been added to the Glamour Dresser. An Outfit Glamour condenses a set combination of items into a single slot and stores it in the Glamour Dresser. Items condensed in this manner can still be added to Glamour plates individually and used to Glamour equipment. As of patch 7.1, it works primarily with level 1 items that have a unique appearance. Compatible items will have a little marker on them. They will say that they are compatible, so you will know. And this is just a really great feature. There are some downsides to it because you do have to have every single piece in a set. And currently, if there's a set that perhaps has some variations, like some of the ones from Island Sanctuary might have like 2 different tops or 2 different bottoms, then you can't actually store every single piece of the set together, but you can store it as 2 different sets, which doesn't always make sense because if it's only a single piece that's a straggler, whether you stored that single piece with an entire set, like you bought everything again to store it as a set, it's still going to take up one slot as the set and one slot as a straggler. So it doesn't always matter, but it would be nice if rather than having to do that or worry about that, every single piece in a collection, even if there are multiple bottoms or tops or whatever it may be, it would be nice if those could all just be stored together as a set. And sometimes there are sets that have more than one straggler, which then makes it worthwhile to buy the whole set again so that you can save space in your glamour dresser, but it'd be nice if it could just be a complete collection in and of itself rather than needing to do that. Another issue with this is that equipment stored as outfit glamours will lose any dyes previously applied, and you can dye them again on the glamour plate, but you can't dye them when they are within the glamour dresser. You can't save a dye on them, so some items will not be worth doing this too. But overall, it is a really, really nice feature that will save you a lot of space, because you get to save an entire set as just a single item. So this is really exciting. I really love this. We are hoping that they'll add some tweaks in the future, because it would be nice if you could store only the pieces you have. You know, maybe you have 3 pieces out of 4. It'd be really cool if you could just store just those 3 as a set rather than needing the whole thing. But we are hoping that they will quality of life in the future and make it better. We're hoping they'll be able to allow us to save dyes to them. But overall, it's a really cool system. Once you have it in the dresser and it's part of that set, it still looks basically the same. Like when you're putting together a glamour plate and you click on like gloves and you still see every single glove you own. You do not have to navigate to a different section or anything. It will still show up there. So overall, really fantastic. It's going to save us a lot of space in the glamour dresser, and it's definitely very, very exciting change. Here's a cool one. Sets of items may now be purchased from shops in increments of 999. Not applicable for some shops and items. So it's not everything, but I'm assuming they're probably doing this for crafters who maybe need to buy in bulk. Another one that seems like it'll be pretty helpful. When crafting, actions can now be executed directly from the calculations menu. More crafting and gathering stuff. The following changes have been made to the crafting log. Filter settings have been added to the gathering log, enabling the option of hiding previously gathered items, identifiable by a checkmark on their icon. Recipes that do not display a checkmark regardless of completion will not appear on the list. And this will show you the filter conditions here, and it seems like this will allow you to keep track of the things that you have already gathered or possibly completed in terms of crafting. And that should allow you, if you're trying to be a completionist and do all of them and you want to do the ones that you haven't completed yet, filter them in a way that shows you only the stuff that you have not completed. I believe that's what this is for. Okay, filter settings have been added to the gathering log, enabling the option of hiding previously gathered items. I think they messed up when they wrote this patch notes. I think this earlier one was supposed to say crafting, and this one is gathering. So it seems like they've done that to both, where you can kind of show only the things that you have that you still need to gather. This one says it also applies to items such as collectibles that do not display a check mark after being acquired. While fishing, the exclamation mark will still display overhead when a fish bites, regardless of whether battle effects have been limited or disabled. This is really good. This is really good because you shouldn't have to change your settings every single time you want to go fishing. The listing order of the mount guide has been adjusted. The order is now organized by category. I can't tell a difference. They claim to have made graphical adjustments to player character models, but I haven't really noticed, so that's cool. Lens transparency has been increased for certain eyewear, so you can see before it was a little foggy to indicate that there was a lens there. Now it looks like there are none, but people must have preferred this. This next one, though, is really exciting. Transparency effects have been added to the following gear, and it's mostly these bunny chief tights, and anything Koga Hakama, Ninja Hakama, these things that are sheer that may not have looked right. Because if you see the before slider here, you'll notice this beautiful, not cat girl, tiger girl, femgar. For a moment there, I couldn't remember the word Hrothgar. You'll see she's very dark in color, but that does not match. But after, now it matches. And same with this row here. She's kind of a pale, I don't even know, greeny, yellowy kind of color. I'm not even sure what color that is. Sallow. And it doesn't look right. And now it does. So that is actually very cool and very exciting. And I've actually noticed it on my character because my character is pretty pale. And I noticed that the leggings do look different on her. And I actually kind of liked the way they looked before on my character because I feel like they were darker. And I liked that a little bit more. But I still think it's cool because it's going to look a lot better for people that maybe couldn't wear these because they were like, my character's very dark or my character's very, very light or kind of, you know, a different kind of skin tone like gray. And it didn't work, and now it works and it'll look good and people will be able to use that, so that's fantastic. And they set it for these, but it looks like they've also added it for some of the Valentillon gear, some of the Yorha stuff from Copied Factory and whatnot, and the other near raids, Gaia's attire. So all of these should be changed to better reflect what skin tone your character has underneath like the sheer see-through tights and stuff. So that's very, very cool. The appearance of female Hrothgar characters' arms when wearing the following gear has been adjusted. So they have a whole list of gear here, and I actually don't understand this because I don't play female Hrothgar, but I'm assuming that there must have been something kind of janky or a little bit off, and they have fixed it. This next one is just funny. Character toe detail when wearing the following foot gear has been improved. Again, huge, gigantic, ginormous list of foot gear here, so I can't go through it all, but if you want to know, like I said, patch notes link will be in the description, but there is a little before and after here, and you can see before, ooh, that's jank, that's pretty gross, I'm not gonna lie, and after it looks a lot better. So they fixed our toes, that's very nice. The following additions and adjustments have been made to the tilt effect when moving. So there actually is a tilt effect when mounted, if you guys haven't noticed, and they have added this to characters, and you should be able to see it when you're running, and you should be able to see it while you're turning and riding mount. So it's basically when you're turning, okay? You'll be able to see it when you're turning. I feel like you can see it better when you're running and sprinting. It'll be like that when you're riding a mount. So I think what they're trying to say is originally your character kind of sat stock still, and now when you're on the mount, your character will tilt a little bit too. The speed at which certain mounts tilt has been decreased. Some of them, I guess, were a little extra, so they decided to decrease that. And you can decide to turn it on or off. So if you don't like it, you can turn it off, but if you really like it, you can make sure it's turned on. But I believe it is turned on by default. The next one was that they have increased clutter and also just improved texture polygon count. So again, kind of graphics things, but also just clutter. They added clutter to make the game kind of look more realistic, more lived in. And I feel like this bottom slider they show is really, really good because it just makes more sense. Just makes more sense. More graphics update, just better shadows. While using the aesthetician, earrings and necklaces currently being worn are now displayed when equipped is selected. Very nice. The following adjustments have been made from retainers. They've changed the retainer menu a little bit so that it will now display the slots filled in your retainer's inventory when you're in this menu, as well as how much gil they have when you are in this menu, which is very nice. And then when you are using like a retainer Fantasia or creating a new retainer, they have removed the combat voice samples from the character creation interface because when you're making a retainer, they can't talk. They don't have voice lines anyway, so you don't need the voice, so they have removed that. This next one is kind of cool. An icon will now be displayed next to recently used Aethernet shards in the Aethernet window. Recently used Aethernet shards can now be selected using Y or triangle button on a gamepad. But this is really cool. Basically, it'll just show you the place that you were before. The number of kills required for a specific hunt marks is now displayed in the recommendations list. I'm not sure how useful that will be, but now it's there. The following additions and adjustments have been made to the party list. Players can now adjust the position of their character within the list. Access this setting via party members, found under Party in the main menu. The appearance of parties' numbered icons in the party list has been changed. So you'll see that now it's like this gold one, it's gold color, where it used to look like these. Players can now use mouse drag and drop functionality for party list sorting. This is really, really cool. Adjust this setting via the party menu by selecting party members, then checking or unchecking enable mouse drag and drop for party list sorting. I just love this. I just think it's really great. I've always wished that I could drag and drop them instead of having to do it the old-fashioned way, and now you can. Cross-world parties can now be converted to in-world parties if all members are in the same area. Convert parties via the party menu by selecting party members, then selecting the convert button. Again, another very, very cool thing. So if you and your friends are maybe in the same data center but not on the same worlds, you create a cross-world party together, and then you're like, oh, let's all hang out in the same server, you can change it. The following categories can now be selected when recruiting for a cross-world party: fates, treasure hunts, and hunts. The following additions and adjustments have been made to the client window. Item category icons will now be displayed to indicate bonuses offered by clients. The Show on Map subcommand has been added, which can be used to display the location of clients on the map. Okay, this next one is so exciting for me. Instant portraits can now be updated when updating or swapping gear sets. If the gear shown in a saved instant portrait differs from what you have equipped after updating or swapping gear sets, you can update your instant portrait via the displayed window. Adjust this setting by checking or unchecking the Use as Instant Portrait option when in the Edit Portrait window. When the setting is unchecked, your instant portrait will not be updated automatically. They have also changed the currency window to display these little icons. I actually kind of dislike this. Like before it would just say battle, other, etc. And now it has icons, and I kind of liked it before better, but they did change it. This is a fun one. The chat log can now also be repositioned by dragging and dropping from either edge of the tab. Before it was super weird because I feel like, especially as a new player, you would assume that that's the best place to drag from. Like I remember being a new player and being unable to figure out how to move this, and I had to like ask people. And literally before, you'd click on any of the actual chat tabs and like hold it, and then you could drag it around. But now it makes more sense. You can literally drag it by the little edges too, and I don't know why that wasn't a thing like the entire time. Here's another cool one. The following options have been added to System Configuration menu. The resolution. So before, I think they really only had like normal full HD, but now they've added 1440 as well as 4K, so 2K and 4K. And I'm very excited about that because I recently upgraded to a 1440 monitor, and I had to like mess with my things because they didn't have a setting for this, and now they do. And it's just really exciting that they have that now. Some other cool things that they have added here is a system configuration backup. It will give you a notification after a set time has elapsed, so that way you can back up your settings every so often, and should anything happen, you'll always have those settings saved, and that's always a good thing. Title screen settings, title screen displayed on launch. I believe this is the thing that people were really excited about. They might have listed this somewhere else as well, but you will be able to choose, I believe, what title screen you want to see. So even if you're on Dawntrail, if you don't feel like seeing the Dawntrail title screen, you can go back and see the Shadowbringers one. I know we haven't probably gotten to it yet, but I know they have also made it so that you can, if you're new to the game, you won't be shown the Dawntrail one. You'll be shown whatever expansion you're on. That's like the title screen and the trailer that will play. Following adjustments have been made to data center travel. When selecting an unavailable destination, the reason the world cannot be visited will be displayed. That's very cool because I would like to know. And then less than 2 minutes and less than 3 minutes have been added as increments to the estimated travel time prompt, so that'll give you a better sense of how long it will take to get somewhere. The following additions have been made to the character selection screen. Current data center name will now be displayed, so you will know what data center you're in if you were ever confused. I will say sometimes if I travel to another data center and log out there, and then I try to log in and I don't realize I'm still in a different data center, this could be helpful. Players can now change data center via the world selection window. The data center selection screen can now be reached by selecting the data center button added to the top of the world selection menu. Okay, this is really cool because before you couldn't be in like the character screen thing. You had to like go all the way out and then select data center. So this is really nice. This should allow you to more easily switch between data centers because maybe you have an alt on a different data center. This is another really cool one. Really excited about this. Character settings can now be copied to a different character on the same service account and device. The feature can be accessed via import character settings in the subcommand menu on the character selection screen. A list of up to 8 recently logged in characters will be displayed from which you may import settings. If the character you wish to import settings from is not listed, you will first need to log in with that character. The following settings can be copied: HUD layout, actually I always say HUD and everyone makes fun of me, HUD layout, hotbars, gear sets, character config, individual macros, and others. So this is basically really cool because if you create a new character, maybe you create an alt somewhere, you'll be able to just copy all of this stuff from your main, which is so nice because it's really quite a lot of work to try and make your HUD, your hotbars, and all that stuff look the way you want it to. And same with macros, because it's like maybe you have macros you like to play on white mage, and you're like, I'm going to make my alt be a white mage too because that's all I want to play. Amazing. You can just copy the macros that you use. This is so good. The game logo and opening movie displayed when launching the game will now change according to player progression through the main scenario. If multiple characters are present on the same service account, the setting will be determined by the character who has the furthest progress. So that's what I was talking about earlier. You can also choose to display the game logo and opening movie from a specific expansion upon launch. So you can choose whatever one you want to see. Very cool. We already talked about this. The following additions and adjustments have been made to the launcher. New backgrounds have been added. You may now select which backgrounds you wish to apply. So you can kind of customize the launcher a little bit if you like. All right, that was a lot. This is probably a very long video. But that is everything. Those are all of the quality of life updates from 7.1. Please let me know which one you're most excited about. I think for me, the most exciting ones were definitely all of the glamour ones, the update to the glamour dresser, the 2 dye channels being added to some of my favorite outfits. You guys should know the Manphilia modish top is like my favorite glam from the Mog Station. I literally have worn it in so many videos. I feel like it's a staple of my channel at this point, and now being able to dye it is so incredible. I love it so much. I'm also really excited about being able to copy and paste character settings to alts, because I do have a few alts. None of them have gotten past ARR really, just one has. But I don't know, I like to make alts sometimes, and I always tell myself I'm gonna make this alt and I'm gonna get it to endgame so that I have a little alt I can play at endgame, and then I never do, but someday I will. And it's just really exciting. A lot of really great changes here. So like I said, let me know which one is your favorite, which one you're most excited about. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Please consider leaving a sacrifice to Lord Algorithm in the form of a like, comment, share, or subscribe. And thank you so much to my channel members for supporting me. Bye!